President Bola Tinubu departs Abuja for United Kingdom on 2-week vacation.
And a president that wants to do something in the best interest of Nigeria.
Federal government seeks cultural diplomacy to deepen outcome of Nigeria's outing at 79th United Nations General Assembly.
Commitment in the implementation of all programs that will touch the lives and well-being of the people in the state.
And Katsina State Government launches Sickle Cell Center and free drugs distribution. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for the United Kingdom on a 2-week vacation, part of his yearly leave. The president departed through the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 2:30 p.m. this Wednesday. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila were among top government functionaries who bade him farewell. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the President will spend 2 weeks as a working vacation and a retreat to reflect on his administration's economic reforms. He is expected to return at the expiration of his leave. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has advised Nigerians resident in Lebanon to consider moving out of the country now that commercial flights are still in operation. The Commission, in a statement by its Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols, says information from the Nigerian community in Lebanon indicates that most Nigerians have relocated from the southern part and are now relatively safe, but wants them to keep safe until the ceasefire is in place. He emphasized that no Nigerian has witnessed any form of accident or injury, and equally tells them to remain safe while the war lasts, advising them to liaise with the Nigerian embassy in Lebanon for necessary guidance regarding their safety, and they are rest assured that their welfare and safety is of utmost concern to President Bola Tinubu. Now back to Mr. President. Before his departure, President Bola Tinubu granted express approval to the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC) for deployment of electric vehicles in the catchment states. The NEDC, along with its Chinese partners, presented the samples of the electric vehicles for exhibition at the State House. President Tinubu, alongside Vice President Kashim Shettima, inspected the vehicles, including a 40-passenger capacity bus, saloon cars, and 8-passenger capacity tricycles. The President expressed satisfaction, following which he approved the Commission should go ahead and deploy the e-mobility in the Northeast in the region of the country. Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Mohammed Al-Khali, who briefed State House correspondents on this development, explained that the Commission would, in the next 2 years, produce over 10,000 e-vehicles under this initiative. He said the Commission has also obtained presidential approval to build 5 and 10 kVA modular solar power units in each of the 6 states within its jurisdiction as alternative sources of recharging the vehicles. State House correspondent Musma Damahab reports that the Chief Executive also added that state governors within the sub-region have equally agreed to provide suitable locations for the construction of the modular solar units. Meanwhile, the federal government says it will embark on cultural diplomacy to deepen the outcome of Nigeria's outing at the 79th United Nations General Assembly. Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa, says this will be hinged on the 8-point agenda presented during engagements with member countries in New York. She was speaking along with other guests on Good Morning Nigeria while reviewing the country's participation at the global event. Olusheye Adeagbo reports.
I projected this vision that we had, and if you saw the interest that we had from specific countries as to working with Nigeria to create this fantastic ecosystem, because they want to be part of the wave that Nigeria is having. We have signed an MOU with Big Win, who are investing $2 million for job creation, because we are creating 2 million jobs by 2027 for the young creatives.
For the other guests on the program, the call by President Bola Tinubu for the United Nations to deepen relations among member states tops expected gains for many participating countries from the global meeting, as Nigeria also expects improved investments, which will create more job opportunities and enhance youth development.
And after he finished interacting with the U.S. Chambers of Commerce, for instance, that was when we got our own first positive cake coming out from the union, in which U.S. Chambers of Commerce contributed a whopping $320 million for Nigeria, for our health challenges, for our women empowerment.
The guest also spoke on the President Tinubu's Independence broadcast, describing the president as a visionary and forward-thinking leader whose sustainability plans will help reposition the country, asking Nigerians to be supportive and patient.
It's not a president that wants to be popular. This is a president that wants to be effective, and a president that wants to do something in the best interest of Nigeria. And this is what I see, and even culminating from his speech, the announcement of a youth conference. Whoever thought of something like that? I mean,
in Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, Nta News.
Events to commemorate Nigeria at 64 have continued with an interactive session to interrogate various issues that concern youths of Nigeria and to better foster communication channels between government and the people. At the dialogue, the Minister of State Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, assured that the President Bola Tinubu administration is fully committed to improving the lives of Nigerians, stressing that nothing good comes easy and that sacrifices must be made to achieve a nation that everyone desires. Others at the interactive session, including the Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, highlights the importance of such interactions between government and the people.
This government mean well for this country. Critical decisions has been taken from different parts. A lot of people have said a lot. But what we are saying is this: don't let us allow political people to use us. This decision is for us. It will be hard now. It can be difficult now. But I can assure you, I'm getting there. And this country has made up his mind. This president has made up his mind to be people's first and nothing but the people's first.
This is the right time for us to get a lot of youth participation in governance, and I think President Bola Tinubu has begun it, and I think that it's something that should last for a long time. This is the very first time in my adult life that I've seen a Minister for State for Youth under the age of 35.
The essence of having this conversation is to create a platform for individuals that our President, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has given the mandate to pilot the affairs of ministries, departments and agencies of government, to see this platform as a means to communicate with the young people. Today being significant in our life as the day we're celebrating Nigerian independence, being 64 years.
Now, achieving economic transformation, poverty reduction and self-sufficiency in food production require acquisition of skills in advanced agricultural practices. This prompted the Senate to pass at second reading a bill seeking the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies Iragbiji, Osun State, sponsored by the Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele. The Senate also adopted a motion from Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari urging the federal government to complete rehabilitation of the Ogbomosho-Oyo road. Senators, in the meantime, invited the Minister of Works as they plan to investigate reasons for the abandoned road project. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has unanimously passed a resolution seeking amendments of the National Honours Act of 1964 to ensure what it calls parity in conferments of the National Honour of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, on the Senate President and Speaker House of Representatives. This follows the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance by Deputy House Spokesman Philip Agbese on behalf of the 360 members. The lawmakers described the conferment of national honours of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger and Commander of the Federal Republic on the Speaker as a discriminatory subordination, which should be corrected.
To appropriately recognize the Speaker of the House of Representatives as co-head of the National Assembly and accordingly confer the national honor of GCON upon the Speaker, ensuring parity in recognition of the President of the Senate. This should be accomplished before the formal declaration by Mr. President.
The Speaker is the fourth in protocol. The CGN comes after. Today, the CGN is given the award, the honor of GCON. I think there is some mismatch, some mix-up.
It is not something that has happened only on this administration, but it's an institutional error that has festered for too long.
The issues here, they have to do with history, with tradition, with correcting past injustices and miscarriage of recognition and constitutional order.
The Constitution did not mention that a chamber is higher than any other chamber.
I think it's about our own institution, like it's been mentioned. We must rise to the occasion. It's not the executive. There is a committee responsible for that, and that committee is headed by a very senior and honorable person, and I believe he will listen to it, and that is Honorable Justice Baggy.
The House referred the resolution to an ad hoc committee to be chaired by Majority Leader Julius Ihonvire for legislative compliance. Sequel to several intelligence reports, both internally and externally, the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control has raided supermarkets and markets within the FCT and environs with the aim of mopping up all counterfeit and illegally imported cosmetic products in the supply chain. The Investigation and Enforcement Directorate of the agency has successfully carried out several mop-up raids in the FCT where several illegally imported and unregistered cosmetic products were evacuated from a supermarket in Wuse and Garki markets. The street value of the items removed from the places the agency visited is 37 million naira, and it will investigate the sources of these items while taking strong regulatory action against culprits and initiate the destruction of all violative items according to NAFDAC excellent laws and regulations. The agency also wants to advise Nigerians to be watchful of any suspicious product and also report any suspicious activity to the agency for swift response. This is the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. We'll have more reports in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Katsina state government has taken a significant step towards improving healthcare delivery in the state with the inauguration of a
providing monthly free drugs to benefit more patients.
For the successful operation of this center, there is provision for patient triage, consultation, and basic laboratory services. All these service delivery points have to require human resources and equipment for optimal service delivery.
By launching the Center and Free Drugs Distribution Program, the Katsina State government is taking concrete steps towards improving healthcare outcomes and reducing the burden of sickle cell disease on families and communities. The traditional institution has also pledged support for health-related programs aimed at uplifting citizens' living conditions. The inauguration and free drug distribution are part of activities marking this year's Sickle Cell Awareness Week in the state. These coordinated efforts demonstrate the state government's dedication to addressing the healthcare needs of its citizens. I'm Awal Haliru, NTA News.
In other news, motorists and travellers plying the Asaba-Benin Expressway are appealing to the federal government to fix this very busy stretch of road as it has become impassable. Susan Isu reports that some motorists have been stuck on the road for more than a week now.
Asaba-Benin Expressway is one of the federal government's roads linking most of the southwestern states to the east. This road is always a beehive during the Yuletide, but 2 months to Christmas, travelers and motorists are becoming apprehensive as the SNA access of the road is now impassable. Commuters say there may be no way in and out of the east if something is not done urgently.
For a very long time, we haven't got it so wrong like this. The road, almost every week, trucks normally fall here or that junction of SNA is too bad and it's too wrong. We are pleading to this federal government to come to the rescue of Delta.
This one don't scatter here. No road to go. Some don't stay almost 1 week for here. Come here, they can't look after this road. Now they can't do the road now. What is the benefit for them? No be all this canteen.
From the Coca Bridge down here to the Ezene, you can see everywhere it's so spoiled. So as a member of task force, we have our own work, but we are also here to assist the motorists. Some of them, we assist them for diversion so that they will not end up locking up themselves to the traffic.
This period is, we are heading towards the Xmas period where people are traveling from different areas, you know, coming in and going out. Look at the road, it's bad. It's bad. This is not what we want, or this is not what we prayed for.
This road is said to have been awarded to a contractor by the federal government, but its deplorable state is becoming worrisome.
The government have awarded a contract for the rehabilitation of the entire stretch. And so we are pleading that they try as much as possible to get the contractor to speed up the process. I wouldn't know what is causing so much delay. Whether it's worsening it is also the issue of the rainy season. So even if you are going to fix the road, you can only carry out some remedial measures at the moment, because you are not going to properly introduce all the boulders, possibly apply some earthwork, preferably sharp sand, and then now decide to lay some crushed stones before you begin to asphalt.
The people are, however, pleading with the federal government to expedite action as the Yuletide is fast approaching. In Asaba, Susan Isu, NTA News.
Following the recent floods in Maiduguri, Borno State, the federal government has inaugurated an interministerial technical committee on evaluation of dams in Nigeria. The committee, which is to be chaired by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, is to enable the country to identify and mitigate factors leading to perennial flooding across the nation. Usman Zubiru reports.
Nigeria has more than 340 dams across the country, comprising 142 large dams, 59 medium and 207 small dams, which serve various purposes, including water supply, irrigation and hydropower generation. Investigations reveal that most of these dams, constructed over many decades, were designed with spillways to allow free flow of water and facilities in compliance with international standards. In spite of that, the country has experienced the collapse of dams and reservoirs The recent one is that of Maiduguri flood. In response to this development, the federal government saw the need to constitute an interministerial committee to evaluate dams in the country. The technical committee has the overall primary objectives of evaluating the physical condition of dams, assessing the social and environmental implications of the collapse of dams on local community, and draw up programs to tackle these challenges.
Go to the field to do a real evaluation of the situation, report back to this committee that will in turn produce a comprehensive report to government so that government will address this issue completely.
Just before the commencement of the heaviest of the rainy season, for every state in the Federation were given funds, runs into billions, in order to prepare themselves. It just so happens that in the instance of these dams, there is a special case, and that's why a special committee is being set up to look at the technicalities of evaluating that they built so many years ago. It's a question of evaluating them and seeing what can be done to strengthen them.
We leave any stone unturned. We are going to count on all northern crannies of this country. Both the old dams and the new dams that need to be constructed, they're going to be done by Mr. President Directive. With the technical committee, the technical experts, we're going to do our needful.
Youth Hope Infrastructure Fund, which have anticipated that we need to rehabilitate dams and irrigation facilities so as to expand both our dams infrastructure and irrigation facilities. So,
in due course, technical expert will be co-opted to help the committee discharge its assignment effectively. The entire ministerial committee will equally consider the creation of a project delivery unit to provide technical support. In Abuja, Usman Zubair, Nta News.
The Ministry of Women Affairs is targeting the empowerment of 500,000 women by building financial capacity in partnership with the private sector. The Minister, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, stated this during a meeting with members of a new generation bank in Abuja. Ngozi Teknikio reports.
The decision to adopt women empowerment in clusters, the minister explains, is to curb the cases of inconsistencies among those already empowered who resorted to selling off their empowerment equipments. She therefore states that, henceforth, clusters of women under cooperatives will be trained and empowered across the nation with close monitoring.
Before now, we used to empower. Some of them would tell you, I've empowered 50 people, they've given them machine. I took my time. I went round to a few. They've all sold it. They are no more existing. Why did they sell it? They can make clothes. Who buys? Who comes to them to patronize them? They are hungry. They sell the machine. Then I am not doing that. I am doing general empowerment, where I have clustered Nigerian women into cooperatives. So whatever we're giving them will be industrial.
The private sector, the minister says, is to double as integrity ambassadors and donors to facilitate the empowerment.
The integrity ambassadors are the rich men that are bringing the money to be used, and they have right to follow up on how it is used.
There has to be that monthly accountability for you to see that indeed it's working. If you started with 0, at the end of month 1, how many clusters are we empowered, and in turn how many women, and what's been the impact of the empowerment on GDP or society. Educating or determining part of our corporate social responsibility directly at women and women-related issues.
The minister emphasizes that the initiative is in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, adding that areas of empowerment include agriculture, among other skills. Ngozi Teknikio, Nta News.
That concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis at